The doorbell rang like a gunshot in the quiet suburban home of Arlington, Virginia. Mark Thompson, a decorated Vietnam veteran with a chest full of medals and a heart full of secrets, opened the door to find his 22-year-old son, Kobe, standing there with a stranger's hand intertwined in his. "Dad, this is Ryan," Kobe said, his voice steady but eyes pleading. "He's my boyfriend and I'm gay." Mark's world tilted. The man who had stormed beaches and dodged bullets felt his knees buckle as decades of buried truth threatened to erupt. In that frozen moment, Mark's mind raced back to his own youth, to the foxholes where he'd shared whispers with a fellow soldier named Jamie. Their bond deeper than brotherhood but silenced by the era's iron grip. He slammed the door shut on those memories, just as he now wanted to slam it on his son. But Kobe pushed past, Ryan trailing awkwardly, and the living room became a battlefield. "You can't just drop this on me," Mark growled, his voice low and gravelly from years of chain smoking to numb the pain. "What about your mother? What about the family name?" Sarah, Mark's wife of 25 years, emerged from the kitchen, flour-dusted apron in hand, her face paling as she caught the words. The argument ignited like dry tinder. Kobe, fresh from college in New York, had returned home for what he hoped was support, but Mark's reaction was a wall of denial. "This is a phase, son. You've been brainwashed by those liberal professors." Ryan, a soft-spoken graphic designer with kind eyes, tried to interject, but Mark cut him off. "You stay out of this. You're not part of this family." Sarah hovered, torn between her love for Kobe and the conservative values she'd shared with Mark since their high school days in the Midwest. As voices rose, Kobe's eyes filled with tears. "Dad, I've known since I was 15. I thought you'd understand. You fought for freedom, right?" That night, Mark retreated to his study, a shrine to his military past. Faded photos of uniformed men, a Purple Heart in a glass case, and a locked drawer hiding letters from Jamie, yellowed with time. He poured a whiskey, the burn matching the fire in his chest. How could he condemn his son when he'd lived the same lie? In 1968, under the jungle canopy, Jamie had confessed his feelings, and Mark had reciprocated in stolen moments. But war's end brought reality. Discharge, marriage to Sarah to fit the mold, and a vow to bury it all. Now, Kobe's revelation cracked that vault open. Sarah knocked softly. "Mark, talk to me." He waved her away, but she persisted. "Is this about something from your past?" Her intuition stung. She'd suspected for years but never probed. The next morning, breakfast was a minefield. Kobe and Ryan sat stiffly, while Mark avoided eye contact. "I'm heading to the VFW hall," he muttered, grabbing his keys. There, among grizzled veterans nursing beers, he sought solace. "Kids these days," he grumbled to his buddy Frank. "My boys." Confused, Frank laughed it off. "Straighten him out, like we did in Nam." But the words tasted like ash. Driving home, Mark detoured to the Arlington Cemetery, staring at rows of white stones. Jamie was buried somewhere in California, dead from a post-war overdose, another casualty of unspoken torment. Back home, tensions simmered. Sarah pulled Kobe aside. "Give your father time. He's from a different generation." But Kobe was resolute. "Mom, I can't hide anymore. If Dad can't accept me, maybe I need to leave." That evening, Mark overheard them and felt a pang. He confronted Kobe alone in the garage. "Why now? Why bring him here?" Kobe sighed. "Because I love him, Dad. Like you loved Mom or whoever." The implication hung heavy. Mark's fists clenched, but he didn't strike. Instead, he walked away, the first crack in his armor. Days blurred into a standoff. Mark threw himself into yard work, mowing the lawn with furious precision, while Sarah mediated futilely. Ryan, sensing the strain, offered to leave, but Kobe refused. "This is my fight too." One afternoon, a neighbor, Mrs. Ellis, dropped by with cookies and gossip. Heard about the Supreme Court ruling on gay marriage. About time. Huh. Mark's face hardened. Not in my house. The comments spread like wildfire through their tight-knit community, and soon whispers followed Mark at the grocery store, the post office, judging eyes that mirrored his own self-loathing. The breaking point came at a family barbecue. Relatives arrived, oblivious at first. Uncle Joe, another vet, slapped Mark on the back. Heard the boys got a friend. When's he bringing a girl home? Kobe, overhearing, stood tall. Actually, Uncle Joe, Ryan is my boyfriend. The backyard fell silent. Joe sputtered. What the hell? Mark, you allowing this? Mark's choice loomed. Defend his son or cling to the facade. He hesitated, then muttered, It's his life. But the damage was done. Joe stormed off, vowing to tell the extended family. Sarah wept in the kitchen, fearing ostracism from their church group. That night, alone in bed, Mark confessed fragments to Sarah. There was someone. In the war. She nodded, unsurprised. I always knew you carried more than shrapnel. Her acceptance was a bomb. But the war within raged on. Kobe, meanwhile, grappled with betrayal. His hero father, a hypocrite? Ryan urged patience. He's scared, like you were. But Kobe's hurt festered, leading to a heated exchange where he accused Mark of cowardice. You fought communists but can't fight for your own son? Mark's response was to retreat further, volunteering extra hours at the VA hospital, counseling younger vets with PTSD. There, he met a young Marine, out and proud, who shared his story without shame. Sir, hiding eats you alive. The words echoed Jamie's long ago pleas. Driving home, Mark pulled over, tears streaming. The first since Jamie's funeral notice arrived in '75. The family's fracture deepened when Kobe announced plans to move in with Ryan in D.C. If you can't support us, Dad, we're done. Sarah begged Mark to intervene. Lose him, and you lose us all. In a moment of desperation, Mark dug out Jamie's letters, reading them under lamplight. I love you, but the world isn't ready, Jamie had written. Mark realized he'd paid dearly. A loveless marriage in spirit, a distant son, a hollow life. The confrontation peaked in the living room. Kobe, wait, Mark said, voice breaking. I'm like you. I loved a man once. The admission hung, a grenade pin pulled. Kobe's anger melted into shock. Why didn't you say? Mark sank into the couch. Fear. Shame. The army, society, they'd destroy you. Ryan listened silently, while Sarah held Mark's hand. For the first time, the family talked, really talked, about love's many forms, the cost of silence. But healing wasn't instant. Mark's revelation rippled outward. At the VFW, Frank confronted him. You too? Traitor. Mark stood firm. No, just human. The loss of old friends stung, but new bonds formed. A support group for LGBTQ plus veterans, where Mark shared his story, inspiring others. Kobe delayed his move, choosing reconciliation. Family therapy sessions unearthed buried resentments. Sarah's loneliness, Kobe's isolation. Mark faced his hypocrisy, apologizing profusely. I was wrong to judge you, yet doubts lingered. Had his suppression damaged them irreparably? Months later, at Kobe and Ryan's engagement party. Small, in their backyard, Mark toasted to living truthfully. Guests included new allies, but absences spoke volumes. Uncle Joe, church friends. The price of authenticity was steep, but the freedom intoxicating. As the sun set, Mark reflected on his journey. From war hero to hidden soul, to proud father. But one question nagged. Was coming out worth the wreckage? Or does silence sometimes protect more than it harms? The story continued seamlessly into the next phase, where external pressures mounted. Mark's admission at the VFW had leaked, and now the local newspaper ran a feature on veterans coming out late in life, anonymously quoting him. Panic set in. What if his old unit found out? Emails trickled in, some supportive, others venomous. "You disgrace the uniform," one read. Mark deleted them, but the words burrowed deep. At work, as a security consultant for a defense firm, whispers followed. His boss, a staunch conservative, pulled him aside. "Heard rumors. Keep your personal life personal." Mark nodded, but resentment brewed. Was this the freedom he'd fought for? Kobe, sensing his father's turmoil, suggested a joint interview for a podcast on LGBTQ+ issues in the military. "Share your story, Dad. Could help others." Mark hesitated. Exposure meant vulnerability, but agreed, driven by guilt over his initial rejection. The podcast recording in D.C. was raw. Mark spoke of Jamie, the stolen kisses amid mortar fire, the post-war suppression. "I married Sarah to survive," he admitted, voice cracking. Kobe shared his side. The fear of disappointing a hero father. Listeners responded overwhelmingly, flooding comments with empathy. But backlash hit hard. A conservative radio host lambasted them as anti-American. Protests formed outside Mark's office. Signs reading "No gays in the military," even retired. Sarah bore the brunt at her book club, where friends distanced themselves. "We pray for you," one said condescendingly. Her faith wavered. The church she'd attended for decades now felt alien. In a bold move, she attended a PFLAG meeting, parents and friends of lesbians and gays, finding solidarity. "I love my son and husband," she declared to the group. Returning home, she confronted Mark. "We're in this together. No more hiding." Ryan, ever the peacemaker, organized a family road trip to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in D.C. There, amid the black granite wall etched with names, Mark searched for Jamie's comrades. Touching the stone, he whispered apologies. Kobe placed a hand on his shoulder. "He'd be proud of you now." The moment bonded them, but en route home, a tire blowout stranded them in rural Virginia. At a diner, locals eyed Ryan and Kobe's closeness suspiciously. "Faggots," one muttered. Mark stood, medals glinting under fluorescent lights. "That's my son and his partner." Problem. The tension diffused, but the incident underscored society's lingering bigotry. Back home, Kobe faced his own crossroads. A job offer in San Francisco tempted him. Better opportunities, more acceptance. "But leaving feels like abandoning you," he told Mark. The decision weighed heavy, echoing Mark's post-war choice to conform. In therapy, they unpacked it. Mark's regret fueling Kobe's determination to live openly. "Don't repeat my mistakes," Mark urged. Uncle Joe's surprise visit escalated drama. "Heard the podcast. Disgusting." He demanded Mark recant. "For the family's sake." Mark refused. "The family is Kobe, Ryan, Sarah, and me. You're welcome if you accept that." Joe left in fury, severing ties. The loss hurt Sarah most, her brother, but she chose loyalty. Mark's health faltered under stress. A panic attack landed him in the ER. Doctors cited suppressed trauma. "Time to heal," Sarah said, nursing him. Kobe postponed his move, helping with recovery. In quiet evenings, they shared stories. Mark's war tales now including Jamie's humanity. Ryan designed a family crest incorporating rainbow elements, symbolizing unity. As Mark strengthened, so did resolve. He volunteered at Pride events, marching with veterans groups. Camera flashes captured his transformation, but anonymous threats arrived. Slashed tires? Hate mail. "Was it worth it?" Kobe asked one night. Mark smiled wearily. "Seeing you free? Yes." Yet, doubts crept in. Sarah confided her loneliness during Mark's emotional absence. "I deserved truth from the start." Their marriage, built on half-truths, strained. Counseling helped, but intimacy remained platonic. Kobe worried. Had his coming out unraveled everything? The climax built at a National Veterans Convention in Chicago. Mark was invited to speak on inclusivity. Nervous, he prepared notes on sacrifice and authenticity. Kobe accompanied him, Ryan and Sarah cheering from the audience. On stage, Mark faltered at first, then poured out his soul. I fought for a country that didn't accept me, but my son taught me to fight for myself. Applause thundered, but a heckler shouted slurs. Security escorted him out, but the damage lingered. Post-speech, a reunion with old squad mates tested bonds. Some embraced him, others walked away. You've changed, one said. Mark replied, No, I've revealed. The trip home was reflective. Kobe decided on San Francisco. I'll visit often. Mark nodded, proud but aching. Settling back, the family navigated new normals. Mark joined online forums, mentoring closeted vets. Sarah explored her own identity, finding peace in advocacy. Ryan proposed to Kobe under the backyard oak, Mark walking Kobe down the aisle in their minds. But as wedding plans unfolded, external forces threatened. A lawsuit from a disgruntled relative claimed emotional distress, dragging them into court. Media frenzy ensued, painting Mark as a fraud. Hero or hypocrite? Headlines screamed. The trial loomed, forcing relived traumas. In the courthouse, testimonies bared souls. Kobe defended his father fiercely. His silence was survival. His truth is courage. The judge dismissed the case, but scars remained. Victory tasted bittersweet. Life stabilized, but the question persisted. In a world of judgment, is authenticity a right or a risk worth every tear? The narrative flowed onward, delving deeper into the aftermath of the trial. Media attention faded, but personal reckonings intensified. Mark, now a reluctant advocate, received invitations to speak at universities. At one in Boston, a student asked, "How do you forgive yourself for the years lost?" Mark paused. "By making the remaining ones count." Kobe, settled in San Francisco with Ryan, called weekly, their conversations laced with shared victories and lingering pains. Sarah's journey took an unexpected turn. Inspired by PFLAG, she started a local support group for spouses of LGBTQ+ individuals. I felt invisible, she shared at the first meeting. Participants nodded, stories mirroring hers. Marriages strained by secrets. One woman, Elena, became a close friend, their bond deepening into something ambiguous. Sarah confided in Mark. "Is this hypocrisy? Me exploring now?" Mark smiled. "No, it's growth." Their marriage evolved into companionship, mutual respect replacing romance. Kobe's wedding planning brought joy amid chaos. Venue hunting in Virginia sparked debates. Traditional or inclusive? Uncle Joe's absence was felt, but new family filled gaps. Vets from Mark's group, PFLAG members. Ryan's parents, accepting from the start, bridged divides. But a venue canceled last minute, citing moral concerns. Outrage fueled Kobe's activism. He blogged about it, going viral. Support poured in, securing a better spot. Mark's health scare returned. A routine check revealed heart issues, stress-induced. "Slow down," the doctor ordered. But advocacy called. He co-authored a book on LGBTQ+ military history, dedicating it to Jamie. Writing unearthed memories. Jamie's laugh, their final night before separation. Tears stained pages, but catharsis followed. A family vacation to Hawaii offered respite. Beach walks mended fences. Mark and Kobe swam, discussing futures. "Dad, do you regret not being with Jamie?" Mark gazed at the horizon. "Regret poisons. I cherish what we had." Sarah and Ryan bonded over sunsets, toasting reinvention. Back home, societal shifts influenced them. Elections brought anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric, rallies forming. Mark marched in D.C., sign-reading veterans for equality. Counter-protesters jeered, one spitting at him. Kobe, visiting, joined, their united front captured on news. Father-son duo defies hate, articles praised. Personal betrayals stung. A childhood friend outed Mark's past indiscretions. Fabricated, but damaging. Social media exploded, trolls harassing. Ryan, tech-savvy, traced some to bots, but the toll was real. Kobe raged. Why fight if this is the cost? Mark calmed him. Because silence costs more. Therapy evolved. Group sessions included Ryan, addressing in-law dynamics. Mark admitted jealousy. Kobe's open love versus his stolen moments. I paid with my soul. Resolutions formed. Mark planned a memorial for Jamie, inviting survivors. The wedding day arrived, a crisp autumn in Virginia. Mark, in dress blues, walked Kobe down the aisle. Vows exchanged, tears flowed. In his speech, Mark said, "Love isn't a battlefield unless we make it one." Guests applauded, but absent faces reminded of losses. Post-honeymoon, Kobe and Ryan adopted a rescue dog, symbolizing new beginnings. Mark visited San Francisco, exploring the Castro district, Jamie's dream unfulfilled. "This is for you," he whispered. Yet, as years hinted at passing, Mark pondered legacy. A grandson, perhaps, but more the ripple of his truth. Young vets thanked him at events. "You saved me from hiding." Sarah's friendship with Elena blossomed platonically, enriching her life. "I found myself," she told Mark. The story's tension crested in a final crisis. A bill threatening LGBTQ+ rights in military families. Mark testified in Congress, voice steady. "I served honorably while hiding. Don't force others to." Applause followed, but opposition loomed. Victory came narrowly, the bill defeated. Celebration dinners reunited the family. "We won," Kobe toasted. But in quiet moments, Mark asked Sarah, "Was the pain justified?" She squeezed his hand. "For the freedom? Absolutely." The tale wound toward reflection. Choices, costs, awakenings. Was the pursuit of truth always noble, or does context dictate when silence is mercy? As the family navigated the post-victory landscape, new challenges emerged. Mark's book launch in New York drew crowds, but protesters picketed. "Traitor to tradition," banners read. Security escorted him, but words wounded. Kobe, from afar, worried. "Dad, step back." But Mark persisted. "This is my war now." Sarah's group grew, attracting media. A documentary crew filmed her story, intertwining with Mark's. Airing on PBS, it humanized struggles, earning awards. But privacy invaded. Paparazzi camped outside their home. "Is fame the price?" Sarah mused. Kobe and Ryan's life in San Francisco flourished. Kobe advanced in marketing, Ryan freelanced. They discussed surrogacy, dreaming of parenthood. "What if our kid faces what we did?" Ryan pondered. Kobe smiled. "We'll teach them strength," from Grandpa. A reunion with Mark's old squad in Texas tested resolve. Invited reluctantly, Mark attended. Conversations started stiff, but beer loosened tongues. "We knew about you and Jamie," one admitted. "Scared us silent." Revelations bonded. Apologies flowed. "You were brave then and now." Back home, health stabilized, but age crept. Mark retired, focusing on mentoring. A young vet, suicidal over identity, called his hotline. Mark talked him down, echoing his own salvation. Family holidays reunited them. Thanksgiving debates sparked. Politics, writes. Uncle Joe sent a card, tentative olive branch. Maybe someday, Sarah hoped. Kobe's pregnancy announcement via surrogate electrified. A girl. Ultrasounds shared. Names debated. Jamie for a middle name? Labor Day arrived. Mark and Sarah flew in. Holding granddaughter Lily, Mark wept. This is legacy. Yet shadows lingered. School bullying fears, societal regressions. We fought for her world, Mark said. In twilight years, Mark reflected on the journey. From shock to acceptance, loss to gain. The question echoed. Does revealing one's truth liberate or burden those around? The chronicle concluded with introspection, leaving readers to ponder. In the balance of personal authenticity and familial harmony, is the former always worth the potential destruction of the latter?